Uy, is it live? Are we on? Alright. Hi, I have a question for you. When you think of the typical Filipina heroine, what type of character comes to mind? Someone like Elsa from Himala? Or maybe someone like Dorina from Between Walang Ningning? Do you think of strong women, flawed women, or characters more in line with the typical Mahinhin, Maria Clara type of women? Maybe we can show you just how diverse local films can be in exploring female characters and issues they face by diving into two films that tackle just that, T-Bird at Ako and Babae at Baril. These films might seem very different, but they share powerful themes about gender roles, class issues, and women reclaiming their agency. Let's unpack it all. First, a quick rundown. T-Bird at Ako is a 1982 Manila noir film starring Nora Honor and Vilma Santos. It explores the relationship between Sylvia, a confident lawyer, and Isabel, a nightclub dancer. Meanwhile, Babae at Baril, a 2019 film, tells the story of a nameless woman, just Babae, working as a sales lady who reaches a breaking point after such a traumatic experience. Both films use distinct styles. Tibert at Ako leans into the courtroom drama genre, while Babae at Baril incorporates the noir aesthetic with muted blues and warm yellows, reflecting the bleakness and frustration Babae feels.
Let's talk about gender roles. In T-Bird at Ako, Sylvia defies the traditional role of the Filipina. She's a lawyer who never lost a case, quite the provider. Not only that, but she turns away most of the men who court her, remaining single throughout most of the movie by choice, without expressing any desire to attract a man until the case is over. On the other hand, Isabel is portrayed as more submissive, a dancer who ends up in a homicide case, retaliating against the man who is attempting to assault her. Now, in Babae at Baril, Babae's character embodies the stereotypical shy, hardworking Filipina. She's quiet, often overlooked, and simply trying to get by. Things take a turn for the worse, and she's violently assaulted by her coworker, and she's completely powerless to do anything about it. But when a gun falls into her lap, metaphorically, her world changes, flipping these stereotypes upside down, and she gains new power over her circumstances.
Both films also dive deep into class dynamics. In Tiberd at Ako, we see Sylvia who comes from a higher socioeconomic background, while Isabel struggles as a dancer from a lower class. Sylvia's financial freedom grants her a roof over her head and food on her table, while Isabel bounces from place to place, even living with Sylvia at one point because she couldn't afford to pay rent. However, despite their differences in economic class, both are undermined throughout the case and discriminated against for being women who go against traditional gender roles, with Sylvia as an independent career woman and Isabel being painted as a promiscuous woman. Jake, a lawyer, even questions Isabel's credibility because of her class, stereotyping her as uneducated and untrustworthy. Classism also plays a huge role in Babae at Baril, as Babae is an endo worker struggling to make ends meet in a system designed to keep her down. Her powerlessness in society, both as a woman and a low-income worker, is a crucial part of the story.
Both films confront violence against women, but in very different ways. In Tiberd at Ako, Isabel faces physical violence, including an attempted sexual assault, often at the hands of men trying to put her in her place. In Babae at Baril, the violence is more insidious. Harassment, sexual assault, and the ever-present threat of men in power exploiting women, particularly in the scene wherein her co-worker gifts her with a new pair of stockings and encourages her to change hers right away. As she changes, he creeps up closer and without consent starts to help her adjust her stockings for her. As he inches up her leg, he decides to unbuckle his pants and rape her. Babae stays still, in shock of the events that just occurred. But what's striking is how both films use these experiences to show women's strength and resilience. Isabel survives the incident and is bailed out of jail by Sylvia. Unaware of what she did for her, Sylvia visits Isabel in her home after deciding to take her case without any monetary gain on her end. Babae, well, she takes matters into her own hands and hunts down her rapist, holding him at gunpoint at multiple times. However, in the end, she does not let vengeance get the best of her, staying complacent as he escapes the scene. Not to downplay the horrific events that unfolded, but as a display of her own agency, in spite of the distressing events that happened to her.
Now, here's where things get intense. Female rage. In Tiberd at Ako, Sylvia's frustrations as a woman in a male-dominated field simmer beneath the surface. Her frustrations with being taken seriously as a lawyer align with her frustrations in fulfilling the roles typically assigned to women. These namely in securing a husband and family, presenting as more feminine and taking on stereotypically feminine roles such as managing the household and childcare. In Babae at Baril, rage is central to the plot. After being assaulted by a colleague, Babae takes control by taking up a gun, a literal and symbolic gesture of reclaiming power. To wrap everything up, both Tiberd at Ako and Babae at Baril are essential films that highlight the resilience of Filipino women, whether it's through fighting for justice in the courtroom or reclaiming their power through quiet defiance. These stories reflect the struggles, triumphs, and complexities of what Filipinos experience. They challenge traditional norms of the typical Filipina, shedding light on the real-world scenarios women face. This is the beauty of Filipino cinema. It uses storytelling to bring awareness to societal issues and amplify voices that need to be heard. It's a powerful media that continues to inspire and provoke thought, making it truly commendable.